What's going on, guys? We are live, I think. What I'm going to do at the moment first is because I was just excited to get things rolling. That as soon as I had prepped things with my client, who will go by the simple moniker of Tim. Oh my God! It went live, but it thinks we're talking about the Communist Manifesto. That ain't right. Why does it do this? All right. Okie doke. What's going on here? Why do I only see? Okay. All right. Okay, so it's only going to show me on the stream anyway because I thought it was going to show me your blank panel. But we are live. I just have to change the name. So, Tim, how are we?
Meeting. Hey, how are you? Getting unmuted.
Yeah. You're all good. Where's the name changer? My God. Click default, learn how to use it. No, don't. All right, we're fine, I guess. Okay. Okay, oh, there we go. That looks good. All right. But I can't change. Where do I change the title? 1 second, because I don't want people to think we're talking about communism. That would be silly. All right, so here we go. All right, a reading session with come on, client Tim. There we go. And I don't want anybody to think Tim looks like Karl Marx. That would be atrocious. All right, there we go. I'm just going to use I can say the quiet part out loud for this one, and then I will change it to something more appropriate for reading video. All right, thank you for your patience. Okay, so Tim is here. He is a client, and he had a lot of love for what we did, and he said I would be cool if you wanted to put this reading up, or heck, even go live if you wanted to. And then I thought about it, up to the last minute, and I said, yeah, let's do it. Let's go for a live one on Monday night. So I'm pleased about this because I do my thing with Stein because until like I'm really generating a lot of new traffic with this channel, I can't just be throwing tarot readings out there like that. Especially because I want to kind of keep this channel more for people looking for the esoteric knowledge, and I'd rather like make like a reading channel, if you will. But that would come after quite some time because I don't want to do what other guys do. It wouldn't work for me, which is just to go up there every week and do a general weekly, like go through the zodiac with your freaking cards. That's not like I'm on a different wavelength, right? So this is cool because this here is just a normal reading, and it's great that somebody is interested in whatever their question is. They're perfectly comfortable with letting people get an idea of it. So that's great. So we talked about it, and Tim is because he went for an hour session. We're going to be live here for the next hour, giving him a read. It's about 7. It's almost 7:30 right now, so we'll be here till about 8:30, and we're going to give him a 9 worlds reading today, our 9-point system. Of course, kicking things off with our qigong, then into our animal spirit, and then we'll be ending it with that whisper in the woods. Right. If you refresh it, you can let me know if you see that it has changed, because I should have changed it over by now. These are the silly things that happen. Yeah, it says a reading session with client Tim, and it's got a completely different picture. We're in good shape. We're in good shape. And Tim Timony is here, and Howard is here. All right, how's it going, Howard? All right, let's get a crack-a-lackin' on this bad boy. As we know, as Tim knows, I take the reading blind, and then we talk about it after I've done the straight run. So you have 25 without entanglement. Let me see here, public chat. All right. So, without entanglement, 25, which reads as creating success from the source. Constancy bears fruit. One who is not upright commits blunders, and it is fruitless to have a direction to go. Freedom from entanglement from what is not yours, such as others, problems, or events that are not your responsibility, brings extraordinary energy. It liberates the natural and spontaneous creative flow and grounds you in present reality. A good time to reevaluate plans, dreams, and goals from where you are right now. What is real? What is genuinely your responsibility, and what is not yours at all? I know for me that sometimes thinking about that last question can be really tricky if you are working on paths of detachment, right? You know, I mean, I'm not a Buddhist, but, you know, sometimes you just got to do things that are kind of Buddhist. All right, let's see. Let's see if I'm... here. Come on. Aha! Ooh, card number 1. The Elder Bat. Trust your senses. Let me see real quick. Where did I put the book? Book's not in there. Give me one sec, because I kind of placed the Animal Spirit book off and away because I haven't been reading through it too much. One sec. There it is. All right. All right, so from the Elder Bat. Welcome me in when the sound waves of the world reverberate through your body, heart, and spirit. My acute way of hearing, sensing, and knowing are yours, and your instincts to listen are amplified. Because I am nocturnal, I also bring the medicine of shadow. But remember, it is only in the darkness that we can see the stars. Your deep listening makes way for the light of truth to land in your heart. I fly by your side, validating the messages you receive through your senses and helping you to trust the power you hold. It's kind of like if you've got like I think it's the Eight of Swords where the chick's blindfolded and she's surrounded by the blades. It's kind of like if you're in that situation, that's kind of like use the Elder Bat, use your echolocation, you dip between the blades, you figure it out intuitively, right? So that's kind of like a first example that comes to mind in that respect. So now, the way our 9 worlds reading works, it's just like when you see the Egeshjelmur, there's a center position, and then there are 8 positions around it. There are many aspects to each position, but it's pretty simple to lay out what it all respectively means. So, our center point, which is obviously representative of Midgard, it is also of the earth element. It is the place of heart, and it represents here and now. All right. So in this center position, you have 5 of vessels. Ecstasy. So, you are putting your feelings to good use. And this is kind of getting a perspective on how things have been shaping up with your mastery of the elements, per se, or at least your cohesive connection of the elements. We have Uwaj here. This this is a deconstruction to reconstruction process that you're in. Now we read continuing by going north on a clock equivalent to 12 to high noon. In this position, we get into the intuitive mind. These are the waters of Niflheim. So this is a place where you can have many delusions and illusions, but also your dreams and your mysteries. I mean, there's a lot of mysteries in the unconscious, but there's also a certain kind of mystery that is in a more it's like the unconscious realm and this intuitive realm. The intuitive realm is a very hazy place, right? Which is why it's Mistfalheim. It's the mist home. It's the dreams, the nightmares. The other abstractions of the mind. But in the Helheim unconscious realm, that's a place where there is no thought at all. Right? It is stepping into the nothing and then struggling to find something that is hidden in nothing but the absence of light. So, in this intuitive position, we have the Knight of Bows, the fox. So, you've definitely been having what feels like there's been a very tacit pursuit for great, like, that's kind of been a theme of for a season for you of looking for something, right? And it's more of an elusive something that you kind of understand. And we have Ehwaz. Ehwaz. There's something personally you care a lot about that is fulfilled if you catch this pursuit. So our super consciousness is in the northeast. There's no particular element associated with the northeast, but this is the realm of the gods. This is the high council. This is the holy mountain, right? So this represents your, your highest in forethought, your actual active conscious thinking mind. You have here, funny how I was using the word fulfillment, because here's a fulfillment reversed with the Three of Bows. There is there's something that you can't do yet that it's doing is also the fulfillment of the thing, and that, and what's holding you back is that this is unfulfilled and it's something you have to do. It's like you've got the two elements to do it, but you can't make the two elements work with you as the third. And you even pulled Raido reversed here. So Raido reversed. So it's because you actually don't know what to do with these elements that you are triangulating. We have Ten of Stone reversed. Home. This is here in the east. This is our ethers. This is the realm of the identity and the ego. It's a place that can get arrogant. Or it can be put under a crippling futility, if you will. So you've got home reversed. You're not. You're looking at home not feeling like it belongs to you if you don't get this fulfillment straightened out. And we have Ansuz. Ansuz. Right? Now, Ansuz is upright here, so that's good. Right? So, everything that you're thinking about what your home ought to be is true, right? Like, you don't have to question yourself. It's just like, yes, if you um if you made the choices to have your home this particular way, it would work. It would satisfy um the itch that you don't like in how things are looking in the future so far. Now, our subconscious is where we go next in our southeastern position. We have 9 of vessels. Generosity. I love this card. Anyway, yeah, I mean, for the subconscious, this is Svartalfheim. This is the realm of your primordial magic. This is the and for generosity to be here, it means that you've got the emotional charge for your magic to accomplish incredible things, but you have to get your ritual right. Degas. Degas. And this generosity is, I mean, like, this is like the nuclear reactor in the sun, right? That's like what this is. Generosity and Degas, I mean, that's quite boom. Muspelheim. This is fire. This is the destroyer, but it's also the energy maker. That energy is also what is putting fuel into life, right? And we have 10 of vessels reversed, which is happiness. Reversed, right? So, this unfulfillment is has because it's 9 of vessels and then goes right to 10 of vessels over here, and it's all upright, but then it's upside down over here in the happiness aspect of it, right? So you've got all this generosity, but you're coming up emotionally short. And it's all kind of getting poured over the hot rocks, if you will. It's all being turned to steam. Gebo. Gebo. This can kind of be where your generosity may have a certain return expectation that is true and fair and reasonable. And you're struggling to say that that is what it is because you wouldn't want to ask for anything more because it's not really about more in the first place, because once again we've got the AWAS situation, the pursuit of this thing you personally care about. Now, the Great Bear. This is equal to judgment card here. This is popping up. This is Southwest. This is Helheim. This is that unconscious realm. And so, this is basically just saying, like, to find this fulfillment thing that you need, you're gonna have to pass through this major trial. Right? You have to walk through there, and you have to go into that unknown in the unconscious, and hopefully the bear doesn't maul your face off, or the spirit of the crypt doesn't traumatize your soul. And look at that, Nauthies. Yeah. It's all in this unconscious passage that you have to initiate. We now move into the west. This is the wind. This is Vanaheim. This is the place where we understand more wisdom and empathy. So we got the Page of Arrows reversed, which is the Wren. I call this the Twitter card. So, it's kind of like getting Ansu's reversed. You already have Ansu's upright in this spread, right? About your home situation, which is reversed, right? But with the Page of Arrows reversed, and it being represented by the communicatives of a bird, right? To me, it sounds like you're not picking up on the language of the environment that you're in, right? What does an environment literally tell you? Or is it, would you say, figuratively tell you? Yeah. But you get a message that makes sense, that you could almost linguistically make sense of, based on the information that the environment is actually telling you, because you need to stop and maybe look at some of the subtle things, right? The wren is a very small bird with a very squeaky voice. It would be easy enough to miss it visually and audibly. And Yera. So this is it's going to take some time to condition yourself to understand. Then the Northwest this is Elfheim, or Los Elfheim, the Light Elves. This is ancestral wisdom, and it's also where we have the dwarf home as our primal magic. The elf home is our refined higher magic as well. But your spirit guides, ancestors, right? The that message from the higher self, if you will. That's all coming in the northwest. 6 of bows, abundance. All right. So there's something you have now that you are abundant in. I mean, you've got the generosity factor, right? So you have this abundance, and that abundance is going to help you sort out all of these things. And we have Lagos. Lagos. You will find that this thing that you actually have in abundance, you have more abundance of than you thought. You thought you probably will look at it and say, oh, this will help once you realize what it is. And then by the time it's done helping you, you realize it almost paid off the whole debt, as kind of a simple way of saying that. Now, that runs us through all 9 positions with their tarot and their rune correlations. Now, there becomes a tic-tac-toe element that is now read out of it, because each set of 3, whether it's crisscross or the 3 above, below, and in the middle, or to the left, the middle, and the right, all these different ways that you can slice it, all have particular meanings. Everything in the west involves the past. Everything on the top involves higher spiritual matters. Everything on the bottom is more lower aspects. You know, the will, spirit. Yeah, anyway, so so looking across on this, for one thing, the only thing you had in your runic energy reversed in blockage was Raido, right? And that's a big deal to be blocked, but 1 out of 9 is great. And Raido can, can easily be turned around. Raido's polar balance is Fehu, which is about resources and wealth and things. You've got this abundance that you need to understand that you have at your disposal. You've got your generosity factor, and you've got you got a number of things. You know, the burning need to be fulfilled for the value that you've put in to the circumstances. Yeah. And so yeah, there's there isn't a tremendous amount to remark on, just because you've got it going pretty solid. So in your underworld aspects, you've got the Nothies, in the west, the Gebo in the south, and the Dagaz in the east, right? So this generosity is, of course, it's in the east. So um, you've got to put that. So that generosity is coming from the future. So it comes from, it might be as simple as you know what your schedule is bringing you, and that has an aspect to do with it, right? But either way, you do have something here that is to be excited about, that is, part of that generous compulsion of yours. But you're emotionally drained on the matter, right? Because you kind of needed to have a real happy emotional fulfillment out of all of this stuff to really keep your energy for it in the game. So it puts you, there's a bad mood element, um, because everything about the situation is not quite hitting that fulfillment aspect of it, right? Which, it's frustrating because it's an aspect of what you're looking for with this transformation, because you've got the Uwaj energy here in the middle, right? And so you're trying to do the right thing with this Five of Vessels situation in the center, and make sure that you've got all the elements in their place and that you're working with them the way you're supposed to be. But a couple of your elements are not quite being properly attended to in the ritual, and it's perhaps because you've got the wrong resources in the ritual, or there's something that could be done better. And you're going to find in this abundance that they're talking about the resources for the ritual, because that's all the way back here. Laguz up here, it's in the north section, right? Where the high mind is operating. And you've got, like, the Knight of Bows, he's on his little mission from God, if you will, right? So that's your little crusader on his hunt. So yeah, um, that really kind of does it. The crossovers from corner to corner. So you would have, in your underworld, juxtaposed to your your divine kingdom, right? So in Asgard, you're unfulfilled and you're not getting the rituals done. And in the depths of your underworld, that's because you have to cross through the final test, and it's absolutely necessary. And it's completely necessary to this whole pivot point of your life with this Uwaj. But then on the other hand, you've got a good stack going for you, because I'm not getting any. There's no, like, evil in here, right? Like, everything, it's just like in Svartalfheim, you're talking about helpful little dwarves. You're not talking about dark elves, right? So, so you've got your good primal magics, and you've got abundant high magics to work with. that's all pivoting on your Uwaj uh, death and rebirth cycle here. So that's the blind reading. Now, tell me, anything that you want to say about what I've just told you?
Well, I put an asterisk next to 10 of stone reverse. That seemed to be something that stuck out at me. Yeah, the Uwaj and it, yeah, there's a lot of points in there. I'm trying to write them down as you go,
Sure, yeah.
for reference and just look
Mm-hmm.
back. Yeah, 10 of stone reverse does seem a big deal. Also, what was the thing about where was it? 10 of vessels reversed. The generosity comes short. Yeah, I'm sure that for a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and then that was the ten of vessels, which is represented by this waterfall, and then the 10 vessels at the bottom of the falls. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. As far as like the base and all that, yeah, sure. Would you say all the helpful elves, beneficial elves?
Yeah. Because there wasn't any I didn't get any negative stuff pop up in your dark and your light elf realms, right? So all this stuff going on with your magic and your higher intuitive senses and things like that. That stuff's pretty good. There's nothing corrupting any of it, right? So that's all good stuff that you don't have to fix and you can trust and lean into and work with in this matter.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's where it comes. A lot of times people they'll try to gaslight you with stuff like, no, you got to do this thing or you got to do that thing. When you got to just trust your own center path. Like, no, I'm good. I'm going this way. We're gonna keep going this way. Thanks for all you do.
Yeah. Just be like, listen, man, I didn't ask. Please don't solicit like that. I don't know you, and I have my own experts. Thank you. Right? Like just people can't just fucking like it's rude.
Well, it,
Gotta,
it reminds me a little of when you were talking about how you got some elements, but maybe you're not quite using them right in the ritual, or you didn't not sure how to use the elements. I think that might be a little bit of that too. We're dealing with people around you are elements, and before you were working with them, and now you're trying to transform, go into something new, and they're not having it, and so they almost become an element that can't be used or isn't. You got to figure out how to use them correctly, or how you can get
well,
out of there.
well. Look. Now, I'm a big fan of Heidegger, and Heidegger used language like that, but not because he literally was trying to utilitize people, but he needed to talk about that for the manner in which he was trying to explain things from a like subjective, almost like a Cartesian kind of like first person, I'm the only thing that's real, certain principle, which is meant as a starting principle. You don't go your entire life and determine that no one else is real but you. That's when you just make endless everybody's an NPC content on TikTok or something. That's what happens to you if you go down that rabbit hole, right?
Yeah, I agree. It's,
Yeah,
I think I look at that more in context too. Where's the room that was about, like, where was it? It was like the horse. Let's see, where am I at? A was where it's like you're just you need to you're trying to have it take you somewhere. Your main mission. Let's see. I don't know. I'm just you speak about the thing that you're caught up on. You just haven't come over that, or you're stuck behind. Uh, yeah, I mean, well, you know about like trying to get marijuana recreational. There's tons of benefits for that, and just trying to get people from the old world to a new way of seeing it. So much propaganda, and so if that was your main mission of like we have to have legalization for medicine and to help people, but there's a big hurdle, and you like have to fight against mindsets, I guess, even in worldviews. It's a big hurdle to try to, and then people can be put into camps because you're like, well, they're a lost cause. I can't work with them, and it can, I guess, when you have such a strong mission, you can start to commoditize people like that. Well, can I use them? Can they be useful or not?
Right, right. Well, on the deepest level, I tell you right there, that's some. Don't think like that. It's dehumanized thinking, right? It's just like people got free wills, and nobody owes you shit. Nobody owes me shit, right? That's
Yeah,
just that's just absolute fucking reality, right? You can't, even if you made the world communist, like still nobody would owe you shit. You would just forget the standard by which somebody is already giving you something that they didn't owe you in the first place. They just used violence to make a policy to make it feel like you're getting something you're owed, when actually it's just a scheme to keep you an eternal serf, right? And so people don't want to be serfed, they don't want to be exploited, they don't want to be colonized. I'm a capitalist, I don't want to be colonized. It's the one thing that a real capitalist would have in common with an alleged communist, is that we don't want to be colonized. It's just like, yes, I agree. We shouldn't have colonized you. We're trying to tell you, have some business now. You're free. You don't want business? But that was the whole point. It doesn't work unless, okay, you poor country, we don't need you. You don't matter anymore. Like, that's kind of what happens, right? And then nobody respects you until you have nuclear bomb, and it doesn't help your trade relations. So anyway,
yeah,
that's just a big, funny, roundabout way of saying that if you're leaning on other people to fulfill the elements of your ritual magic, then you are stealing someone else's magic, right? That's all got to come from you. You are the source. And especially with, your personal power, call it your magic. It's not always magic in the magical sense, which is how a lot of people unconsciously are using magic, which was an observation that was made by Aleister Crowley and exploited with the manner in which he manipulated sympathetic magic. Then you have to figure out where in yourself you see that you got what you thought you needed from them. Because maybe you're assuming that it's couldn't possibly be anything you actually have because you don't understand what the component you need to put in there is really trying to do. And so you've been trying to grab the wrong piece. Because if you want to be a magician, unless she's going to be your personal assistant, nobody's going to help you.
but who is she?
Um, an example I invented just now.
Oh,
Because magicians, stage magicians, they have a personal assistant.
Oh, okay, I see. I hear what you said.
Yeah, yeah. And so do ceremonial magicians. Usually they're there for sex, even if it's the same sex. But anyway, this is an adult show, kids. It's an adult show. Uh, all right, all right. And it's actually apropos because what we're talking about here, without entanglement, right? So yeah, it's so you have to this is representing on top of this five of vessels, you are putting an end to the way you got anything done with other people. It's all coming down on you now. Unentangled. Any pretense illusion that your magic was working because other people were filling missing elements has come to an end. And that's what this centerpiece is telling you. I'll be snapping a picture of this. If I move this right now, let me see. You should be able to get a. There's what the spread looks like. I can't really play with it more. I might unplug it, but that's your spread right there. I'll snap a picture of that before I put it away. So yeah, so that's good. Then with what I said, that you didn't have any follow up question, right?
As far as follow up to what?
Oh well,
Just like the whole thing, or anything in
well,
particular?
me telling you that this is about you on your own, which is
Mm-mm.
also kind of like the end of how you're used to doing things.
Yeah, yeah. That it does make a lot of some clarity there.
Okay.
Which is it's things you right, things you already know already. You got to get out of that.
Yeah, yeah. Here, let me. I'm gonna pull a couple of bonuses here. Feel like you deserve a little bit more clarity. So the next card, which these are just going to be kind of side, kind of like addendums to the story. They don't really fit in the spread anywhere. So the seer pops up here, right? So you're going to lean into the intuitive visions that you can feel yourself, right? Keeping in mind what you're learning here and now, and whatever else has to inform your decisions. But whether it's this reading or some other seer like knowledge comes across your way, that's going to be something you're going to need to lean in. And Uruz. And Uruz, you're going to something in the physical process of what you're doing is also going to bring it to the mind's eye. So if any of these people were like doing something for you, and like maybe what they were doing was something you couldn't do, like, so you always relied on them. Like, hey, I can't change the oil in my car, right? Or whatever, you know? And it'll be specifically while you're in the middle of physically changing the oil in your car, that because it's related to everything else in the reading, because that's just an example, whatever changing the oil in the car means to you, it represents what you actually have to do while you're in the middle of physically doing it, in that experiential having of it happen. Something on the other side of your brain that's not fixing the car, because if you're fixing a car, you're probably working with the left side of your brain with all the mechanical functionality things you got to do. And then, the other side of your brain is thinking about, I don't know, Avengers movies and boobs or something, right? There's that little part of you it's the amusing side of thoughts that are there while you're actually very focused, right? But that's also where that drift state can kind of, the questions that are on your mind while you also are focused on doing the thing. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, is that what I thought it was? Did I hear that correctly? Right? My God, I never thought of it that's it. That is it. Right? And, it had nothing to do with what you were doing, other than you kind of needed to be doing it and at that angle. And then it meant something on a weird subconscious level that got you through the blockage. I didn't lose you on that whole allegory,
No,
did I?
no,
Good.
it's right on. It happens a lot. I work out in the garden and all sorts of places. Yeah, it happens all the time.
Great, 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 great. Okay, cool. And all right, and Queen of Stones, the bear, right? So you got Queen of Stones and you got Ten of Stones in that reverse situation, right? You kind of got to lean into that, like, am I really present in this space? And now that I am present in this space, do I feel like I'm in charge of this space? Does am I comfortable with it? Or do I now have an inkling to say, wait a minute, you know what? I actually have to feng shui this room, because if I'm going to do magic in it, I literally have to arrange it in a manner in which energy flows. Examples such as that. And then Hagalas. In this case, I would be saying that your Hagalas here is about the point of getting this space to where it's good with all of this energy flow, is because you want to have the ability to make that strong connection between heaven and earth, because that creates your plane of inertia.
I, is there any relevance to, we got a bear on the Queen of Stones and we also have a bear on the Great Bear. The second bear of the
Well,
night.
this is, yeah. The bears are, the bear is a heavy, heavy, heavy part of northern animal spirit practices and animism, and representative of different gods and things. right? And so yeah, the bear is something that has popped up because yeah, there's the great bear, and then there's the Queen of Stones bear, right? The Queen of Stones is more like any bear, right? Any female bear is like the Queen of Stones, you know. So that's kind of like ferocious mother energy kind of idea, okay. And then the Great Bear is specifically referencing all the mythos around Ursa Major, right? And so this bear is more of a deity. You know, this bear is acting as a sentinel, as a gate. It has an important position, right? It sits on the judgment throne, if you will, right? So that's a different thing. Was there a third card that you were asking about? Because those are the only two bears that popped up. But in short, the gray bear is just kind of like the bear of bears, effectively. Because if you're satisfied there,
Oh, sorry, I was on mute.
yeah, okay.
Did what was the last thing I said? You heard me say?
I didn't hear you say any of that because I was talking.
Sorry.
Yeah. You were muted the whole time. So just go ahead and start from the beginning.
Oh, I think I said well, the Great Bear almost seems like it's such a it would almost be like a it seems like such a symbol, as if maybe you could never conquer that in a lifetime, as like it's like the never ending. It seems like a symbol for like the trials that everyone would have to go through on the earth. So, but I guess you could conquer a major trial in basic. I don't know. It's hard. How would you look at that? As something that you will conquer, or that, well, maybe you won't, but it's something we'll just work on? Is maybe let's see, like when they build wonders or monuments, that might be a multiple generation project.
Right.
So maybe you might
Well,
not
it,
conquer that.
it represents just the final challenge, the final obstacle on the path to wholeness, right? On the path to like the quote grand prize, right? It's the last boss fight before you get to beat the game and see the closing cinematic payoff, right? That would be the world card afterwards, right? So look, you pass through the trial, and you know your trial is something that's set in your heart, and that doesn't mean you're going to pass the trial. But what it definitely means is that if you actually bother to listen to your heart and prepare for your trial, you will have a fair competition, and it's more about how you handle the fight than whether you win it.
All right, I see.
Yeah. Because it's not even necessarily a fight. I mean, like you could look at it. It could be. I mean, because it's the major arcana and it's towards the end of the major arcana, it's expressing itself as something big, because it's representing a major aspect of your life, right? You could just say that this is a dragon on the gold, and you know you can defeat the dragon if you know that you're a hero. Do you know that you're a hero before you've done the deed that would make you a hero, which would be slaying the dragon to become the dragon? Slay the bear to become the bear?
Is that is that good luck or bad luck to do that? Do you want to become that?
It's your rite of passage. It's nothing to do
No.
with luck. You're going to have worse luck if you don't do it.
Ah, I see.
I've done it,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
see, it doesn't just happen once. The tarot represents things that happen in cycles. There will be other times in your life where if you are someone who gets regular readings, the 20 card, the judgment card, will pop up in different positions over different events with different meanings and different whatevers. This is an upright card, right? It's which tells me that, you have a healthy enough relationship with your unconscious to do this right, which you have to do because Nothies has popped up here. You're Aragorn going into the halls of the dead. I am not afraid. It, it's all this archetype bullshit.
Yeah, I think the only fear I don't necessarily think I have the fear to beat the dragon. Yeah, it would be yeah, archetypally becoming the dragon. Sometimes you think, well, if I have to use you might be afraid that you try to use too dangerous of weapons to kill the dragon, now you've corrupted yourself.
You can't overthink it like really like that. It's just like if you're thinking that, either it's not the dragon because you're right, you don't have to fucking destroy it. And if you don't have to destroy it, then it's not the dragon. What if it's in your fucking way and you tell it to move and it doesn't move? I don't know if it's the dragon, but it's an asshole. Make your way through.
Yeah.
You have to learn to trust yourself. You have to learn to trust yourself. And the thing about fighting the dragon is that the dragon is something that you will see, and if it's and it's often in someone else because other people are usually the pains in the asses that make up the dragon because they represent the dragon in some way, shape, or form. If you draw the dragon out so that everyone sees that you are fighting a dragon, because perhaps it's about that game where you can't fight the enemy because everyone thinks he's right because he's not a dragon. No, this is a dragon. I'll show you. I'll show you he wants to eat me. Right? And so you 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 try and do what you're going to do. And everybody's going to wonder why the dragon is being unreasonable because they just think it's a guy being unreasonable. And then he's going to eventually cross the line. And that is when the mask comes off. I've been in those kinds of situations where it's specifically about I have to have conflict with somebody who scares me. And conflict doesn't necessarily have to get violent, but you have to feel like you're going to get violent in just standing in the conflict. And over time, you eventually realize that most people don't want to get in fights, and it's all just a cock measuring competition. So go show the dragon he's got a smaller cock than you. That's all you're fucking doing, man. These, we don't fight against flesh and blood, powers and principalities. Brr, 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 brr. That's that whole fucking gag, right? So, the point is, the dragon is your terrible obstacle that is holding you back, and you're afraid if you face it, it'll swallow you whole. And no human being should live under those feelings. And so face the dragon, because the dragon wasn't counting on you turning on it.
Right.
All right, so that's been an hour session, my friend. I'm going to give you your Whisper in the Woods. Take a peek at the chat room. And then call it a night. All right. You got growth. This one's longer than the others. The tallest oak tree once started as a seedling. Don't be afraid to start something new.
Sounds good.
All right, that's good. Let's take a look at the chat room. Hi, Peaceful. Good to see you. Yep, just Howard and Peaceful and Tim were here. All righty. All right, my man. So, I'm gonna log us off of the live stream. All right.